This and every episode of REKT Podcast is brought to you by Beaksy Exchange, an upcoming cryptocurrency exchange built in collaboration with One Market Data. Beaksy is bringing legacy finance speed, power, and sophistication to crypto for the first time. With 225,000 transactions per second per pair, comparable to NASDAQ, 15 order types on day one, with 25 order types on full rollout, and a dedicated customer support team, Beaksy is setting itself apart from the competition. Check out Beaksy today at Beaksy.com and pre-register today at Beaksy.com/registration to get your free Beaksy Exchange tokens. That's Beaksy.com, BEAXY.com.
I'm Notsofast, and this is REKT.
Hello and welcome to REKT Podcast. I am Bunchu Betts alongside my esteemed colleagues and co-hosts. Chamber, how you doing, buddy?
I was off for 16 days, and this is my first day back to work, and I really hated it. And it was like, weather was shitty too. We had freezing rain here all day. Driving around was a pain in the ass. So overall, the only cherry on top of this day is we get to talk to Notsofast. So that's a good day, but it definitely did not start off good.
That's rough.
Well,
days,
we were talking before the show, and I said 1 week off of work is good because you don't have enough time to really contemplate not working. 2 weeks off, you're like, this is really good. How can I figure out how not to work ever again? Like, I just want to be
do
off
this
of
all
work.
the time.
And then you're just depressed when you have to go back.
Yeah, it's rough. Cynthia, how about you? How you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm good. My kids go back to school tomorrow, so I'm celebrating. They've been out of school they've been out of school for that many days, and I'm like, please God, open the schools, take my children.
That's awesome. And we have a very special guest with us. You know him from crypto Twitter. You know him, definitely one of the most prominent guys out there. Notsofast. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm good, Bunchu. Thanks for having me on. I foresee a fun little chat ahead of us.
Absolutely, and we've been looking forward to this one, so we do definitely appreciate you taking the time to join us on our little podcast here. So we appreciate it. We're looking forward to it, and let's get right into it here. So we like to start, whenever we have a guest on, just getting right into how did you become Notsofast? What got you into crypto? Where did you start? When was it? All that kind of stuff.
Okay, so going back to that, I think everybody has a story where they first heard about it, and then later on they FOMO. And I think that just has to be the way it goes with anything that's kind of new and alien at the beginning and sort of completely different. And since this is money, everybody kind of knows what money is from an early time in their lives, and then it's something, crypto is completely different in the way you would look at money. So
sure.
2011, I read about it on the Boing Boing blog, which is kind of just like a random tech blog.
Sounds like a great blog.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. A little less awesome now. It's past its heyday. But anyway, they talked about Bitcoin, and there were a lot of skeptics around it, and they were sort of saying, yeah, this is like libertarian money. So I thought, I'll go as far as I'll download a wallet, and I'll see what I can do with it. Sure. So if I had opened the wallet console and typed set generate true -1 in there, I would have just started getting a few Bitcoins maybe. But I didn't bother doing that. I was like, oh, this is so sketchy looking. Just forget about it. And I didn't do anything about it. And and then end of 2013, I saw a Dogecoin meme on Imager. It's just an image meme sharing site, and I thought, wait, they made a coin out of this? Okay, this is cool. And everybody, so many people from sort of my cohort got brought on by Dogecoin.
Through
and
Doge,
back then, yeah. So back then, your whole take was, well, I can go to these sketchy websites and enter captchas and get like a tiny amount from faucets, or I could like buy some on eBay, but I'm not spending real money on fake money. So I'll just get a GPU for my computer, and I can maybe sell it to a gamer if everything goes to crap on this. So that's what I did, and that's how I started being a miner. Like, I built computers a bit before and everything, but never kind of like that. But it was fun. Like, the whole community was so crazy inclusive. Like that, I'm probably remembering it through rose-colored sunglasses or whatever you call it. But it seemed like everybody was out there just like, yeah, you want
and
some of this
you're
crap?
Talking about
like, this is how you do it. Like, Doge specifically. So I was a Dogecoin maximalist. I was like, screw this libertarian coin. If I ever get any of that, I'm going to dump it straight for Dogecoin, because nobody wants this stuffy, like, orange weird coin when they could have like something mimetic and fun. And like, so, and eventually I sort of realized, like, okay, like, Dogecoin's awesome and it will always have a special place in my heart, I guess. But there's a reason why, like, Bitcoin's probably going to do pretty well over the long term compared to some of all this other stuff. But it was an on-ramp, like the friendliest on-ramp I would argue that we've ever got. Like, yeah, this is not worth anything. Get into it because it's fun, and it might be worth something. But the fact that it's worth only a tiny amount is probably good. There's very little risk involved, and after that, there's, with all the ICO stuff and everything, there's a lot more of a hype machine surrounding it, and like you're going to make a bunch of money that then you can lord over all your friends at Thanksgiving, and like that's a little more dangerous of a narrative than Dogecoin was, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now my family hates me.
Christmas 2018.
Yeah, very cold room, no matter how many Yule logs blazing on the fire there.
It's funny you mentioned
that's funny.
Funny you mentioned Dogecoin. The only person like that I speak crypto to, like, in real life, is a guy that is a gamer that got into Dogecoin probably same time you did, but for some reason it didn't hook him. Like, I think crypto has like a 99% success rate for hooking people. But yeah, he's like, oh yeah, like I got, like, he was talking, whatever it was, 2-3 years ago, getting into Doge, and or maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but getting into Doge and having a wallet, and trading it for stuff, and but just strictly Doge. That's all he ever got into. And then last year when I started getting into it, I was talking to him about it. And it kind of got him going again on it. But yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I haven't looked at that in years. I'm like, oh, that's Doge. Yeah,
he's probably got so much Doge.
Oh, he got a beautiful surprise then, probably.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Cool.
Well, I think it's funny. I think we've talked to a lot of people, like you said, that got their start really mining Doge and stuff like that. So, you're definitely not alone in that one. I feel like, and I listen to a bunch of the other podcasts, and a lot of people they have on, their first experience was with Doge. So I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was a really big cohort, like a really big on-ramp.
And probably, like, arguably,
really
more so than Ethereum or anything else, right? Like, it's probably Bitcoin and then Doge.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you gotta wonder with Ethereum, because I wasn't really. I was a skeptic.
A lot of people were
probably its first 2 years. Yeah. I mean, how could you possibly at that time, right? Now you're a little more used to it, but at that time, like 2014, how could you spend the only people spending like money on the Ethereum ICO that didn't actually give a workable product till over a year later, and you could trade like the pre-tokens on Bittrex or whatever. That's a big leap of faith to take. It was rewarded extremely handsomely, but like at the time, you had no idea.
Sure, that's crazy. So then you're back in it now at 2013, and now you're hooked for life. Right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
How did you? I mean, that sounds like that's how you got your start into mining. But how did it become, the next your passion?
It's weird. Like, I've never been the type of person to sort of just quit anything until long after the horse is dead and my foot is sore from kicking it. So, I was just straight up like, I had it all figured out in order to like minimize my the damage that would get done to me if it all fell apart tomorrow, right? And this was always what I said. I was like, all right, I'll get a bunch of crappy old computers, whatever they are. I'll set them up in this like workshop where I pay flat rate rent, and the landlord's maybe not going to notice the extra electricity that I'm sucking down.
Right.
So I've got all these like old Frankensteins just clobbering away at various crypto mining networks, and I figured like, all right, I'll just get a bunch of bags. Like, they didn't cost me as much as they would normally, so I can afford to be a little bit cavalier with looking around and mining garbage and accumulating garbage. And I'll just keep doing this as long as it's still fun. And if it's not fun, the rigs just kind of sit there and earn you a bit of money while you're for the couple months that you're taking some time off. And then suddenly, like, 2017 happens and you realize, like, what the heck? Like, this is actually a real thing. But there's also like the discussion and everything on it with Twitter. There's so much drama going on, and there always has been. And, like, there's no fewer scams today than there were back then, and some people that like perpetuated a bunch of different scams are somehow still around and not in jail or anything because it was all fake money at the time. So it's really weird. But something else that kept me involved was, at the start, I noticed all the scammers that were out there, and I thought, all right, it will be good for... it was just called like Bitcoin, the Bitcoin space. If I try to be a version of me that like is always honest and is always trying to do the right thing and setting a good example, because there's lots of bad examples here. So if I just try to set a good example, maybe I will be the change that I want to see in crypto. And it's so cheesy, but like it makes you, it affects the other aspects of your life. Like, I started being like a more decent version of myself, like outside of crypto and outside of Twitter, and it worked out nicely. Like, I became a version of myself that I like more, and so that sort of self-fulfilling prophecy is addicting, and so it's good to do the right thing. When you can, right? Like, I fuck up all the time, but like everybody does, right? So it was sort of like setting a good example created a positive.
I was going to say too, and there's a difference between what you're doing as far as, like you said, just kind of being the best version of yourself versus, and you see it, and it's not just in crypto, but people that are almost faking that. You know what I mean? Like the fluffiness.
Yeah, I was just gonna
say, what I'm saying? Like, you see a lot of fluffy tweets out there that just might be. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and here's where I can let I've been annoyed by it as we all have. Here's where I can let those people off the hook. I realized this like a few weeks ago. That crypto Twitter became like this massive, crazy thing on its own, just completely on its own. And like, there's all this talk about people like saying, oh, the market's still got to capitulate more and get these people out of it. And like, these people aren't going anywhere. They could have lost their last cent, but they have like a follower count in the thousands or tens of thousands, and a lot of people, like, that's value irrespective of like anything they have in wallets or anything like that. That's something they're going to hang on to. So they're trying to make everybody, they're trying to shore up the lifeboat until the next bull market.
No, I like it's positive.
That.
At least
I think
they're being
that's
positive.
Awesome. Yeah, at least they're being positive.
Chamber, all you need is 10x your followers, and maybe you could.
That's the dream. I have trouble being positive.
Well, I have about 10x of you guys, and I still have to work. So
rub that in my face all the time.
Well. not so fast. Are you in the 100,000 now?
Oh, he's like way ahead.
Yeah, it's funny because there was a conversation earlier this week about like bots and weirdness, and like during the bull market, like, it was ridiculous watching my follower count. I'm like, there's no way this is real. But then afterwards, it's been stuck. Like, I haven't gained or lost any. So it's at 148K, but that's just like a weird number, right? It's just like, what? Who are these people? Most of them must be not.
I don't know if you do
anymore.
this, but I do this sometimes. Do you ever look at like people, like celebrities or whoever, sports figures that you like, and be like, huh, I have more followers than them, or you know what I mean? Anything like that? You ever do that? Yeah, no,
okay,
absolutely.
super guilty here,
space.
but yeah, I've done that. Like, just, if I see some, like, if my girlfriend's watching like some reality show and I'm like, oh, that person's like kind of the main troll of this show. I wonder like if they're big on Twitter and stuff. And like, anytime I've been like, oh man, I'm so much bigger than them, it's usually that they're like they have like 2 million Instagram followers, and Twitter's just like a namespace holdover. So really, the joke's on me.
I'm guilty of this too. So
nice.
Wait, who the hell?
Who are you bigger than
though?
Call
right,
exactly. Who are you
and I
bigger
just
than?
crossed 2,000 over the weekend. Yeah, no big deal.
Hey,
no big deal.
Congrats.
But I don't know how it came up, but you, of all people, would remember, being a fellow Canadian like myself, remember Snow, Informer, from the early 90s? More followers than Snow. So I was...
Wow.
Oh, my.
Really?
I was walking around
makes me
pretty
feel
content with
happy
myself
too.
when I saw that.
This is when we all when we close
100%.
this podcast, we all go listen to that song. Like,
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna see if I can drop it in here at some point.
hey, please do that. I'll start grooving to it. Amazing.
That's so funny. So, well, that actually, they probably didn't have Twitter. When
I don't think they had the
Snow
internet.
was really popular.
No, they didn't. They barely had the internet. They had Napster, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's pretty cool. So then you got super into mining. What advice would you give some people out there that might be new to it or looking to get more involved? I got into mining probably way over my head last year, and now my rigs are kind of just sitting there because I can't even make my money back. So
Yeah.
how about some advice?
Hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not saying the way I did it is right for everyone, but I was trying to go like, all right, I'm just gonna let my inner cheapness fly on this. And so like I bought one brand new GPU at the very beginning for Dogecoin, and like it took forever to make that money back if I even did. And I thought, all right, this is the wrong way to go about it. Like I should really plan it out better and like look at the calculations, whatever calculations I can make on how much I'll actually make and how long it'll take to pay off, and what the price of Bitcoin would have to be for me to break even on this in 6 months or in like 2 years or whatever, and realize like, all right, like if the price of Bitcoin goes down, I'm going to be paying through the nose for electricity. Like there's a lot more planning that you have to do before you buy a bunch of equipment and get involved. Or you don't have to do it, but it's nice to do it and just kind of know what's involved in front of you, because there's no worse feeling than having this hardware at home that you spent all this time building, and you now it's finally running and stable, and you want to like go mine some coins, and then it's like, oh, this is costing me $3 of electricity a day and it's making me 30 cents. Like this sucks. This sucks a lot. This is not what I signed up for, right? And so you have to sort of realize in advance that like this is what people weren't realizing all 2014 and 2015, and I was sort of looking around the used marketplaces, and if I saw somebody selling a rig for like what must have been around or below the cost of parts, I'd be like, yo, I'm taking that, I'm snapping that up, I'm
Nice.
putting it in my free electricity workshop. Like I had thought way too much about this, and I'd sort of finessed a situation or a setup where I was kind of getting a lower bar to jump over than everybody else. So find an edge. Like in trading, it's an edge. I kind of figured out a mining edge, and it kept me and my rigs up and running for many months, even while other people, might have had to shut them down. So like you can spend a bunch of money on a bunch of high-end rigs and pay full retail price and like just hammer away at it, and in a bull market that'll probably do you fine, but then the decision to turn them off might come a lot sooner than you expect. So it's nice to just like not put up as much as you might, as you might think to. And it's just another version of FOMO, right? Like I spent more on my first couple of GPUs than I spent on the next like 10. So yeah, temperance of your own FOMO is probably the best way to stay in the game, and that's not just with mining, that's with trading and everything too, right?
I pretty much bought the top of the GPU market, so
yeah. There were none on the shelves for a lot of the time last year. So
yep. So that was me. And then like how do you decide? Hey, this is something I might want to get a bag of. What kind of goes into your process there?
So there's a lot that does. There's some obvious ones like where there's a lot of buzz around in technology that's pushed forward a little bit. So now there's all the Mimble coins that are coming out this month, like Beam at the start of the month, and then Grin I think is still on the 15th. It's launching. So those are like a new version of full end-to-end privacy for cryptocurrency, and it's done a little bit better than something like Monero or Zero Cash or Zcash, I should say. And there's a lot of like conjecture around the stuff, and a lot of people think it's going to be really big, and that's all good. Like I choose to mine that stuff too, but also where my skills, and not just mine, but like lots of other deep diggers for shitcoins, they look on the Bitcoin Talk announcements page and they just make assessments. Once you see like 12 or 20 shitcoins being launched per day, as it was sort of in 2014 and 2015, you get to make snap judgments pretty quickly. And in many cases, there will be a coin that launches with little or no information, and it just looks like garbage. But there's something else to it, and you can't really tell what it might have been. But sometimes developers will release with not very much information, so a lot of people will pass on it. And then mine like heck themselves, and then like 2 weeks after they've had a chance to mine with a quote-unquote fair launch, they put all these beautiful graphics in the announcement, and they're like, yo, this is what this actually is. So the coin I have in mind when I talk about this is one called Crave, which is actually still around after something like 15 takeovers. But it launched with like a 5-line announcement, and it just had some extra weird stuff like something called like a magic number or whatever, which is was something to do with its own take on the privacy tech at the time, which didn't end up meaning anything. But then later on, the developer added all these crazy graphics and this highfalutin roadmap, and it went from something like a 800 or 900 Satoshi mining cost. It hit 800,000 Satoshi on Bittrex in a massive pump, like just a ridiculous, like that 1,000x from mining cost to where it finally blew off. That was 2015. That can't really happen anymore, but maybe it can. I don't know. It's there have been some pretty insane wins. I haven't been involved with them so much in 2018 as I could have been, but I know BitTube or IPBC was a massive one. Some people mined it for less than 1 Satoshi on the first couple days, and it hit like 3,000. So that's a good one from this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing those with us. And now
no problem.
we wouldn't be REKT Podcast if we didn't ask you some of your best REKT stories. So
yeah, of course.
You got any of those? I mean, you've been around for quite a while in crypto years, so I'm sure you might have one or two of those that you can share with us.
So can I go like way into the outfield and give you one from like pre-crypto trading, like from long before? All right,
Absolutely.
So I was a prop trader in the early 2000s, which meant I traded a firm's money and I got to keep a percentage of the winnings.
Oh.
And if I lost money, I got fired.
Don't lose money.
So I did that for a bit. Yeah, don't lose money. So I was doing really great. You could it was just scalping, like just pure parasitism, making a few cents on a trade here and there over a few minutes. And once I thought I was good at it, so I quit and I did it from home. And I borrowed $80,000 from my dear aunt.
That's a lot. That's a lot of cake.
My goodness!
Oh my
to
God.
fund my account. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You kind of know where this might be going.
This already sounds terrible.
I was doing awesome. I was doing just fine. And then what happened was they switched the New York Stock Exchange's system from where one dude called a specialist would sort of batch and process all the trades and give you a little better here, and basically a guy ripping off retail for his friends, and you just parasite on with his friends. Changing from that system to a sort of more they called it hybrid, but it was more automated. And what happened was people started just letting their computers run bot orders for them, which is very common nowadays, but back then it was sort of a new thing. And all of a sudden, with all this bot spam, I couldn't read like the order book or use any of the like chart reading or tape reading that I was relying on before to make money. So I didn't know when to quit. Again, hearkening back to that that blessing / curse of my particular personality. And I just, I would have like a losing month maybe once a year, but then I started having a losing month and then another one and then another one. And I strung together 14 losing months before I quit. I whittled.
My God.
Yeah. So it affected a whole lot, and it took me 10 years to climb out of that hole. And bless my aunt, for taking the risk on me. It took a long time to sort of make that right within the entire family. I was regarded as just like just like a pissant thief for a long time, and like this is not a story that I've really shared publicly before at all, but like it's enough that of a cautionary tale. Like, I learned many things, and one thing is like if you can avoid borrowing from family, just avoid it.
Probably
it's not worth the heartache. It's not worth the heartache. And I thought I'd have a redemption story when I finally, paid off all the debts and stuff. But no, they just didn't think I was such a
back to normal now.
Now we don't hate him.
Oh my goodness. So, you get any of those family members into crypto?
I try not to tell them about that stuff. So, like, they know I'm an enthusiast, but they also know that I suck at most things like that to do with finance. But this is good operational security, too. Like, if they think I'm a broke ass, like, no matter what happens, then they're not going to bug me about it too much. So they think I'm an enthusiast. They don't really know about, like, Twitter or anything like that. And
You're still the nephew who lost 80 grand.
I'm still the dumbass nephew.
Oh my God, that's a really great story. That's gotta go
very
up
close
there
to the top, if not the tippy top.
I think it may be the top.
Auntie Elaine's 80 grand. Sorry, Auntie Elaine.
Hashtag Auntie Elaine. It is what we're going with for this episode, Chamber. Write it down. Hashtag
God, that's
Auntie
amazing.
Oh, goodness me.
So, man, that is a pretty awesome REKT story, though. Like you said, though, lots of lessons in there for sure. I think the borrowing from family is a good one.
Was there a promise
that,
for
like the plague?
I have so many questions.
There's going to be a few.
When you set up this agreement with Auntie Elaine, is it Elaine? Okay, all right.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Was there you're gonna lend me 80,000 and I'm gonna give you back 100,000, or was it just a nice, was it just a nice $80,000 lend?
Bless her ever-loving heart, she did not expect interest.
Wow.
She was just like. I explained it to her at great length because it was a lot for an elderly woman to understand.
Second question.
Like, I did my very best to make sure. Yeah.
What ballpark?
Oh gosh, we're gonna say like smack in the middle of the 70s, her 70s. So like
I'm just thinking about the rest of the family.
So were you able to pay her back before? Is Aunt Elaine still with us?
Okay, I'm a real I'm a real shithead for this, but though I was not able to make good on my debt before her passing.
Oh no.
No. So yeah, it was a real unfortunate thing. I had chipped away at
she could see you were making progress. That's good. I think.
Yes,
yeah,
she could see I was making progress, and honestly, like it wasn't her life savings or anything. It wasn't like
I need to borrow from like 7
and there was
family members to get 80 grand.
Oh goodness,
that was my question. It was how many family members said no before Auntie Elaine said yes?
You know what? Actually, I wasn't me sniffing around for it. I was.
You don't seem like a sniffer.
offered to fund the
I'm like, he seems like a nice.
I wasn't sniffer.
I wasn't sniffing. I was actually a bit of a doof. Like there was a whole like guilt thing as well about like I should really she lent me all this money for my business. Like I got to spend more time with her, and so I was the one. A few more trips to eat all the shrimp at like the Chinese buffet and stuff with her. Like good time. But yeah, it brought me closer to her in a bunch of ways too. So like it was cool.
Yeah.
Like it was. Much more complex than it would seem on its face, as you might well know. But like, I hope I'm not doxing myself with the side. That'd be hilarious.
Maybe Auntie Elaine's name and identification have been changed for the purpose of this story.
and if you get doxed, we'll just switch places.
So funny,
and make sure everybody think you're me. There is a slight
a little bit.
That's funny.
It totally is. That's hilarious.
Man, that is an awesome REKT story. Thank you for sharing that.
Glad to. Thanks for dragging it out of me.
Yeah, our listeners love.
I'm so sorry.
That's the best part of this podcast, in my opinion. Is we actually have a lot of people that come on and they're like, I've never said those things out loud to anybody before.
Yeah, but you got to know. You have to bring an A game.
We've had some pretty good ones like that. Who was the one that was working at the site and the guy fell and died?
That was OJ.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. Was it OJ? Yeah, that was OJ.
Oh no! Wait.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think that was.
Yes,
him.
And he had a boner.
No, wait.
He died with the boner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, what? He
that
died
was
with
OJ.
a boner?
So, remember, serves me correct.
Yes.
No,
that didn't factor into my story.
He came correct with the story though. That was.
Goodness
we usually ask a crypto REKT story and then like a real life REKT story, and that was his real life REKT story. So he witnessed somebody die with a boner, and now we're off the rails. So.
Yeah, that's rough. That's
and
really
here we
rough.
are. But anyway, that was awesome. Thank you for sharing. Now
Gladly.
we're going to get into the news.
Mm-hmm.
Chamber,
all right,
kick
hot
us
off the press,
off.
guys. Coinbase says Ethereum Classic attack included $500,000 in double spends. Yeah. Aren't you a big ETC guy? Aren't you? Yeah.
I was mining it
Not
for a long time. I still have my bags because they're totally underwater at this point. But you were asking some 51% attack questions before the show.
Yes.
And I said we have a perfect guest that could probably answer these questions. So
Notsofast, if you could riddle me this.
Yeah.
I was talking to Bunchu before, and I said, isn't Ethereum Classic one of the oldest chains? Am I wrong there? It's pretty old.
It's pretty old. Like,
isn't it very difficult to 51% hack these older chains?
Like, it depends on what's out there. And Ethereum has most of the ETH hash rate,
I was going to say they lost a lot of their hash power because of Ethereum. So technically, I think it would be easier.
If there's a lot of sort of spare or idle hash rate out there, especially when people have started to turn rigs
it's almost like
off
idling
in the bear market.
Right.
Yeah, it's almost like idling or turned off. And so there's a lot of sort of loose hash rate out there that could be used like, oh, well, this stuff's just sitting there. How am I going to make some money? Maybe I'll go dark side and I'll put it all online and I'll make a private pool. And, Ethereum Classic hash rate is way, way lower than it's ever been for a really long time. So it's only going to cost me about $5,000 an hour to do 100 block deep reorganization of a double spend. So I have a big underwater bag of Ethereum Classic. I'm going to double spend that to myself and to an exchange. And then I'm going to mine my own chain with this $5,000 for an hour or however long for 100 blocks, and then I'm going to replace the main Ethereum Classic chain with my own, and in the meantime dump all my ETC on the exchange, take the $550,000 in return for the 10 or 15 or 20 grand that I spent to rent all these GPUs that weren't doing anything, And there you have it. And a lot of these 51% attacks have been going on for the past couple years. In 2017 bull market paradise, almost nobody cared. Exchanges would see the dump and just freeze the wallet, compensate all their users, and it wasn't even a big deal for them. Now, the money's drying up, and where you saw it back then in the 2014, 2015 bear market was trying to hack individual users with Trojans to get their wallets that were on their computers. Now we're seeing the greater honeypots are the kind of second strongest or second most valuable chain from a particular proof of work hashing algorithm. So Bitcoin Cash, for example, has a SHA-256 mining algorithm. Same thing as Big Daddy Bitcoin, BTC. So it's a sitting duck. If Ethereum Classic can be hacked because there's so much available GPU hash rate, things don't look good for second placers or third placers or anything. It's almost just the prime channel for a specific coin's hash rate, or just be small enough and crappy enough that nobody really wants to attack you yet. Yeah, so this is the consolidation that a lot of people have talked about for a long time, and it's sort of playing out as it did today.
That's probably the best explanation we will have ever given. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah, that was pretty darn good. So the Notsofast just dropping hot fire right now. It's that was. I think that's better than what you could have done, Chamber. So
yeah, it's definitely better than what I could have done.
Chamber reading that news story. You could have Notsofast could have wrote the fucking news story.
No, I don't want to write that story. It breaks my heart too. I mean, I got a bag of ETC. It's just sitting there getting wrecked. So
same.
Yeah.
Same. Yep. Anyway, to Cynthia, what do you got for the news?
I have that New York's Governor Cuomo has signed a bill that will put in place a cryptocurrency task force. Apparently, when was this signed? Today?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. The task force of experts will help us strike the balance between having a robust blockchain industry and cryptocurrency economic environment, while at the same time protecting investors and consumers. New York is trying to solidify its place as this, global hub for technology and innovation. And I think it's a good thing. Regulation is something that is coming, and the sooner the better, I think. The AG's office actually had sent out some questionnaires to get information for this bill that they were going to sign to some of the bigger exchanges, and Tyler Winklevoss was one of them at Gemini and said that he was all for it. I don't know. I just know the Winklevi is one unit.
There's always a good-looking twin. Right. Are you kidding me?
Am I the ugly one?
I was going to say you and Notsofast.
I'm the Tyler Winklevoss.
That's so funny. And then I think I saw here that Winklevoss said he was pro, and then
he was all for it, and then the guy from Kraken was like, "How dare you give me this 34-point demand with 2 weeks? I don't have time for this. You don't respect my business. I have a roadmap."
I have a roadmap.
Just very
I have a roadmap.
negative, and I have a roadmap.
Well, I think for the most part, the Kraken guy, Jesse Powell, and the state of New York are not the best friends.
Yeah, do they just not want to do anything with crypto? Is that
yes?
That's what I'm reading.
Well, we have in New York, it's the thing with the bit license and all that stuff, and they only have a certain amount that they're going to give away. So, New York as a whole is not very pro crypto at the moment. But so it could be changing, I guess, which would be nice. But
being from New York, you probably know better than I do. Right around when the bit license dropped, it seemed like what they were trying to do is be like, No, none of this like decentralized, like permissionless finance stuff. We are the finance center.
Correct.
We are going to drop these regs, and everybody has to do it our way. Mm-hmm. And then what ended up happening is regulation is like censorship. A favorite quote of mine from some old like cypherpunk. It says, "Regulations like the internet or any network will interpret it as damage and just route around it." So what happened? Yeah. All the business went to all the other states except New York. And now this is probably just like damage control and like reversing or mitigating or moving the pendulum back the other way so that they can actually
Well, you look at places like, obviously like San Francisco is going to be big for stuff like this. But I think of Chicago is probably one of the biggest beneficiaries of all the New York stuff. Chicago's
so
a hotbed. And if New York hadn't been doing all this crazy stuff, try to regulate everything, all that business probably would have stayed in New York.
Speaking of Chicago, Chamber, do you want to take this moment to talk about your new favorite addiction?
Yes, they're based in Chicago,
right?
I've been playing REKT. I'm beta testing it with a bunch of other folks, and it is the most addictive game. It's basically you basically get a chance to either pick Moon or REKT on the 5-minute charts, and depending on where all the money where all the bets go, it weights the payout. So if not everybody's, say you go REKT and everybody else goes Moon. You can get, I think the other day somebody had like a 22 times payout. This thing's gonna be fun. A lot of people are having fun with it.
Oh my!
I actually got an invite to.
I've been trying to get Bunchy one for a couple of days.
Yes, that shit away. Come on,
my girl
Meredith. Yeah.
Shout out to
She's
Meredith
on there.
Darden.
She's causing trouble.
Yeah, she. She's the one that messaged me about it, and I need to get on there.
It's a lot of fun.
Now that you're talking about it.
I'll be addicted to that.
I think she reached out to me because they were wanting more chicks to do it.
I feel like there's only
a bunch of bros come do it with me.
It's definitely a lot of bros.
Yeah.
Is there a troll box where you can tell or something?
They opened up a troll box like 2 days ago. So they every day it's like a new little piece comes on. So the troll box just started. But I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much though. The troll box.
I'm looking forward to it when they.
Sorry, hopefully they'll listen to this show. And
I'll get you the hookup.
We'll tag Dan and Danny. And maybe they'll hook you up.
Perfect. Anyway, I knew you wanted to talk about it at the beginning, and then we forgot about it. But so you triggered me with Chicago, and I went with it. So my last news story here. Not huge, crazy news, but I saw this last week and thought, oh, this is pretty cool, and then turns out, nope. So this article is Epic Games and Fortnite are not into crypto yet. So I think on the 2nd or something, it came out, and Fluffy Pony, Riccardo Spagni from Monero, he tweeted that you could actually pay in the Fortnite merch store with Monero, and it went live. So Fortnite tweeted something, and then you could see in the picture that it had an option to be able to pay in Monero. But Tim Sweeney from Epic Games just tweeted the other day and said, actually, Fortnite's brief foray into crypto was accidental. We worked with a partner to open a merchandise store, and somewhere along the way, Monero payment was enabled. So they are not going to be accepting Monero as what was previously reported. Although he says, many at Epic are big fans of decentralized computing and underlying cryptocurrency. However, a lot more work is needed on volatility and fraud proofing before we can launch it to such a broad audience that includes our younger gamers. So, pretty interesting that it was there and now it's not. And would have been cool, I think. But
how do you guys think that happened?
I don't know. They say it's accidental, and I don't think there's such thing as that.
How do you accidentally add Monero to your accepted currency? I just don't
there was
get it.
there was an embedded shill.
100%.
Someone who's like, I'm going to use this to shill
100%.
Monero. It'll stay in there
Yeah.
for like 24 hours. It'll be a news
Get a
item
5%
maybe,
pump.
and like that's all we need.
Yep, exactly. Well, it's funny because I did see somebody, I don't remember who, tweeted about like all the stuff that had happened recently in like mainstream crypto stuff, and they were talking about the Litecoin sponsorship for UFC, and then this on top of it, and now obviously this is not.
Their little stack of hashtag real world use is
right,
like the
falling
Dragon
apart.
Chain
exactly.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
The Dragon Chain NASCAR. Oh man, that's funny.
Dogecoin had a NASCAR. It had a NASCAR.
They did.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Who drove it? Do you know?
Oh, really?
Oh, Josh something. It's been a while since I called back that memory, but
that's funny. All right, so that's going to do it for us for the news. We are going to get into a little rapid fire. So, Chamber, you want to explain to everybody here how this?
So
how this
essentially,
is gonna
all we
work?
do is we're just going to ask you, a bunch of questions real quick, just to answer as honestly and as quickly as you can, and. It's rapid fire, but it usually takes a lot longer. We usually get into depth on some of these answers. So, absolutely,
you got to unpack something that flies out of the subconscious. I get it.
Right. So, but this is more. Some might be crypto, mostly probably not. So let's get it started here with one of my favorite question always is what's your go-to karaoke song?
I'm a karaoke master, and I can rock Prince, Kiss, but also 100 other songs easily.
Wow.
I love it.
I was not expecting the answer of karaoke master. That's fantastic. So we're putting together the karaoke dream team, and Notsofast is going to be on
Charlie
it.
Shrem's on it for sure.
And Charlie Shrem.
Huge.
Oh, I bet he's good.
Huge.
Yeah, he looks like someone who'd be good.
Dude, he says he goes every Saturday.
Oh my goodness, that was me once upon a time. Actually,
Really?
KJ'd for a while.
KJ, I didn't even know that was a term.
Really?
That's terrific.
Now you know, man.
That's
KJ
awesome.
on the weekends not paying his aunt back.
Hashtag Auntie Elaine's 80K.
Hashtag KJ, I like.
It's going to take a lot of KJ gigs to pay that back.
So the answer then was Prince
Great song.
Kiss. That's a good one.
Yes, sir.
All right. So how about, let's see. I have just a list of these here that we just put together, and I just laughed looking at one of them specifically. One of the questions is, who's your favorite family member? And I think we all know the answer to that.
There's no way I can get out of answering that any differently.
How about, let's see, who's your favorite superhero?
Oh my goodness! I always liked the Silver Surfer.
I remember.
That
was a good one.
When I was younger.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool, right?
No,
and they haven't made a movie about him yet, have they? Yeah. All right.
Yep.
So I'm still cool, right?
Still
I'm still
edgy.
cool. I'm still edgy because I picked somebody
my
that there's
favorite
not a movie
superheroes now.
about.
I've been off for a while, so I've been spending a lot of time with my 5-year-old daughter. We have been watching. I don't know if how old you're. Are we still children at this point with your kid? Oh, okay. All right. So you're not into this yet.
Baby stuff. So yeah. So they don't know. They don't know.
This is my new favorite show. I think it is. Maybe I just been watching too much kid stuff. Is Teen Titans Go, and they are my new favorite superheroes. It's not even close. It is the best show for kids right now. So I highly recommend all parents watch this.
Oh my God,
it's
hilarious.
perfect.
All right, we'll go with a crypto one. What is your favorite altcoin that you currently own?
Favorite that I currently own? It's so hard. Okay, there's this really garbagey coin.
Go on.
I can't believe I'm giving it any airtime or attention at all. So it's a coin called, and don't breathe down my throat. This is not a shill. Like, it's so bad. There's a YouTuber named Junson Ming Chan. And he does like gaming, and I think he does some politics reviews. And he made Junson Ming Chan coin. and it's just a ridiculous little staking coin. And I mined a bunch of it, and then it went proof of stake, and I just mined it, and I'm still staking like a bunch of it now. And it sells for, it's not even 1 Satoshi. It's like in the Litoshi market. But I got a few Litecoins out of mining.
That's awesome.
Johnson Ming Chan coin, yeah.
That's a deep amazing.
I just get deep into the deep, like the seasides of shit coins all the time. Just looking for like ultra low acquisition cost, and then like if you can get a few Litecoins out of something like that, then you end up okay.
Sure, that's cool.
I can't believe I shouted that out.
I was just going to say, Chambers going to go buy a bag.
Don't even. Just don't buy it.
All right. What would be your weapon of choice in a zombie apocalypse?
Oh, goodness. Like, does it have to be something lying around, or could it be an actual just like weapon, like that falls out of the sky from like a box?
That's a good question. I'm going to say any rifle, handguns are okay. No nuclear bombs or weapons of mass destruction.
Okay, yeah. So like, you can't have like make a wish and have it fall out of the sky or whatever. Yeah. All right. So, you guys know my buddy Dumb from Shitcoin Talk and the Dumb stream on Twitch, obviously. If you look deep in his Twitter timeline, he's got this picture of himself
with his penis out,
with like this, not that weapon. I just realized what I walked into there. God damn it! He's got this crazy ass like tri-bladed or quad-bladed knife that goes the whole length of his forearm.
That way deep. Pretty dope.
Yeah, I would try and rock one of those. Just because it's like the most dangerous looking thing that I'd ever seen in somebody I know holding. So.
I go with the like it's the same bat, but it's either the Negan bat or the Charlie Kelly bat.
Yeah,
the spiky bat. Yeah,
the spiky bat. Yeah, okay.
Spiky bat goes a long.
It's
way.
renewable. You know what I mean? You don't run out of bullets. You know, you can. It stands the test of time.
Yeah,
it sure does.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Zombie undeath.
All right, we'll go with 2 more questions here.
Sure.
What would be the number 1 place on your travel bucket list?
Oh my! I'd like to go check out the ruins in Machu Picchu.
That is a good answer.
Ooh, that's a good answer. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And then last question here. This was one of our would you rathers from last episode, but I definitely want to hear what your opinion would be here.
Right, all right.
Who would you rather be roommates with, Vitalik or Roger Ver?
Okay, so Roger Ver would probably do some bro drinking out at the bars, and then when we struck out, we'd come home and like have a good like bro down cry about like injustices to ourselves and others. But going out with Vitalik would be pretty radical. Like I'm wearing a cat shirt.
Sure are wearing a cat shirt. I've been looking at that the whole time. I'm like, so like cat shirt?
Straight up, like me and Vitalik have cat wardrobes, and we could go out on the town and just do some damage together. I'm not even playing. Like Vitalik, we're gonna go out for a couple drinks one day.
Yes. All right. So that was Vitalik. I thought that I actually chose Roger Ver, but I thought that Roger Ver would be the kind of guy that would like get mad at you or write his name on all of the food he bought. You know what I mean? And like you wouldn't be able to touch his chips or his flour. God forbid you needed a cup of flour.
Oh goodness!
Should have planned better.
Oh goodness!
You're gonna 51% attack my flour, dude?
Oh my goodness!
That's so funny. But all right, so that's gonna do it for our rapid fire. Chamber, do we have a little update on the REKT index?
Brutal, savage, REKT.
A couple of days ago. I think it's looking as good now. Yes, we are. So
why don't you explain?
So the REKT index.
Yeah, what's the REKT index?
Is we've been doing the show for about 7 months now, give or take. Has it been that long?
Oh my god!
Am I overshooting? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
No, it was end of June.
Congrats, though. Nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
We'll ask the guests to kind of we kind of asked you earlier, but kind of what they think some of the better performing coins will be or tokens will be, over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. and they'll give us a couple, and we've pooled our money together, and we've been buying bags for the last 6-7 months now.
So you're gonna buy what I show you directly? Like you're gonna go buy Johnson Ming Chain?
Is that on exchange? I don't know where it is.
Yes. No questions asked.
I won't even tell you what exchange it's on, but
no questions asked. We go buy it and put our money where our mouth is. So Chamber, what are we looking at right now?
We are up in BTC almost 27%. So not bad considering like you said, we started this in July. We are up a bunch in Ethereum. We're almost up 100% in Ethereum value.
Nice.
That is Ethereum's fault. But we are down 24% in USD. So not great. But, I think
it's
you want to get more BTCs. I think at the end of the day is what you want, right? That's the plan.
Right.
Yeah. We're kind of at the point of maximum financial opportunity. So I like my bets. Whatever I show you might be okay.
What do you got?
All right, well, what do you got for us? You got one or two?
I'll give you two, and they're perennial favorites. So these won't come as any kind of surprise. I freaking love Trollcoin.
No,
and I always have.
We don't have any of that.
Yeah. And this is also I know that the sell side of the book is stuff so that you can buy a tiny little bit. Perfect. And it's not going to do anything ridiculous. You will have to venture onto maybe Blue Trade or the digital price exchange for that one, but it's fun to load up the tip pot and let that fly around Twitter when the bot comes back, or let it fly around Twitch. So Twitch is big. I think it's only going to get bigger. I think it might take away a bunch of YouTube's thunder, and so if Trollcoin is a good tipping currency, and I freaking love if somebody just is weird or kind of a dick on Twitter, I love just giving them some Trollcoin tip as a tip. There's something so just awesome about that canned response of but I just gave you money also. It's good. And then the serious one is I've always loved Blocknet. I think it's a pretty cool protocol. It's just a fundamental base layer type thing where you can permissionlessly
No.
Oh, if you already have it, even better.
We don't have it in our REKT bag. We have it. Oh, we need a coin bag. Oh, so we also did the
need a coin bag.
Shitcoin Christmas countdown, whatever we were calling it. So we
nice.
Pulled some money together for that too. And I think that's where I heard Block. I think it was one of them. Yeah. So we'll get it for our REKT. We'll get it for our REKT.
Yeah, he and I talk a lot.
Too.
So.
Yeah, we need that one for our REKT bag for sure.
So all the FA, I don't have to go into that too much, but also it's at just super bottomy price levels. 35k Satoshis. When it ICO'd in 2014, it was 25k Satoshis. So wow, it's real low, and it's gone as high as I think 500,000 or 600,000 maybe. Wow. So and it's there's I talked to the developers. There's always stuff going on with them. So
awesome.
Cool. Those are two that we will add to our personal bags.
I love that you're adding Trollcoin. I hope it makes you vastly wealthy. May you repay all your Aunt Elaine's.
That's awesome. Yeah, but anyway, that's going to do it for our segments. We really appreciate having you on. We wanted to give you, kind of an open forum here to tell people where they can find you, any kind of projects you're working on, anything that you want to mention. The floor is yours.
No, thanks so much. I'm not going to shill anything. I'm at Notsofast on Twitter, and I'm just really, really glad for people like you that are jumping in and getting real sort of discussions around your own framework in the form of a podcast. Natural conversations are so freaking important for people to understand that we're all just regular people. We're not trying to pump and dump anything. We're just talking about what interests us, and there's no animosity or ill will in the background. It's just people having fun discussing something in which they're interested, and there's some financial opportunity and risk tacked onto that, which is fine, and that's okay. So that's all I really want to say is you guys are awesome for doing what you do.
That's dope.
You hear that, everybody?
That was dope.
You're awesome.
You hear that? You hear that? That's awesome, man. We
if
really
Notsofast says it.
That's right. So
I decree.
We appreciate it. But otherwise, that's going to do it for us. Just make sure, if you're out there listening, subscribe and give us a rating on iTunes. We would appreciate your 5-star reviews and ratings. They go a long way to helping us climb the leaderboards out there. So please, and if you haven't joined us in our Telegram group, we have a lot of fun in there, t.me/rekt_podcast. And obviously follow us on Twitter at @rekt_podcast as well. Chamber, any last words?
Man, I'm just having a great time now that Notsofast thinks we're awesome.
Yes, I agree. Cynthia, any last words from you?
No, I'm good. This was a good one. I'm super glad you came on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
The conversation trying to get you on here was fun. I laughed at our conversation on Twitter. the invitation.
I need to go back and revisit that.
What was our conversation, guys? Y'all saw it. I think I said something about the podcast, and you were like, "Is that an invitation?" Right. And I was like, "Well, yeah, please."
It was the most low-key invitation. I wasn't sure if I was like, "Did you just invite me?"
That's so funny.
No, we appreciate it, man. We really do.
But, yeah,
same here.
Thanks again, Notsofast. We appreciate it. This is going to be released tomorrow, which is Tuesday. So we'll make sure we tag you and your Aunt Elaine in the show. Other than that, for Cynthia and Chamber, I am Bunchu Betts. And until next time, don't get wrecked, and that is financial advice.